right, hello everybody. My name is Mike Wendt and I work for the Greater Cleveland Film Commission. I'm so excited to be here for this panel with 4 of the talented local creatives for the film Buddy, which it plays tonight at the, I think everybody's pretty damn excited about that. Directed by Casper Kelly and produced by Low Spark Films, Tyler Davidson, Drew Sykes, and also, Substance played a big hand. But I would like each of our panelists to introduce yourselves and please tell us what role you played in this film.
I'm Shawna-Nova Foley. I was the costume designer for Buddy.
I'm Janel. I was the costume supervisor / ACD.
I'm Evan, and I was video assist on Buddy.
And I'm Schuyler White. I was the stunt coordinator, and then I was the special effects supervisor on some of the gags that we were doing on it as well.
Yeah. Now, each of these people I've worked with personally, and you can check out their IMDb's. They are so immensely talented. Tell us, when getting a script like this, there's not very much out there about this movie. There's like one still of Buddy walking through the forest with an axe, and I think it's been really smart. It's like we haven't seen a trailer, nothing. But when you got this script, what did you think? Each of you, what did you think when you heard about what this movie is about?
I think even after reading the script, although I read it, it was really hard to imagine how it would turn out, because when I actually had my interview with Casper, I had a completely different idea than what Casper had. So I pitched him my ideas, I did mood boards, and he was like, oh, actually, no, that's not it at all. This is what it is. And then we had the conversation, and but yeah, it was really, this script was really exciting because there were so many interesting elements, and then the way that they were put together, and then the story inside. So it was kind of hard to nail down just from reading the script.
Yeah, I guess, I came on after Shawna, so Shawna had the hard conversations up front, but after reading it and getting, kind of the vibe from Shawna, it felt very, unique, nostalgic, and it was exciting creatively, I think.
Yeah, I think it was like, how are we going to do some of this? And then I think it really hit me, walking on the main set for the first time. The world felt so, we were on a test shoot, and I was like, I get it now. It all kind of was starting to make sense, so that's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, I got a call from Tyler Smith, one of the producers on it. He goes, hey, I got this project I want you to take a look at. He's like, it's going to be a tough one. And I go, what's going to be so tough about it? He's like, well, we got kids and we got puppets. And then I go, oh. And then I asked what he had for the budget. I said, oh man, this is going to be a hard one. I go, let me read over the script. And I read over the script. I go, the script's phenomenal. And I go, yeah, we're going to have to do a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of grinding. There's going to be a lot of people stressed out. And I said, but at the end, we're going to have something amazing. I go, this is incredible. And then I did a meeting with Casper. We talked about how much I loved the script and how I wanted to achieve his vision so badly, because I loved it. Oh, I was totally in love with the script. As soon as I read it, I was like, I have to be a part of this, and we have to make this thing magical. And then pretty much as soon as we started in on it, it was, like I said, it was stressful, it was very hard, but we accomplished it.
Yeah, I'll have to apologize and take a step back because, this can go to either person. Give us, what is the elevator pitch, without barring spoilers, of what Buddy is about?
I've kind of described it as the Barney meets the Truman Show meets Nightmare on Elm Street. That's kind of how I've been describing it without giving too much away. No,
I love that. So for basically, when in Ohio, a lot, when we get offered things, sometimes we're in a situation where we can have multiple films at one time. Sometimes we can't be so choosy. Were there any things like when, talking about how it could be a difficult thing, was there anything that gave you pause before jumping on this, or was it just like, I am totally in and let's go?
I think I know I was totally in from jump, and then once we started doing the costume breakdown, that's when we started to panic, because when we broke it down, and we had our first production meeting, and they started without me. I was the only one coming from home, and so I missed them discussing the first day of filming, and then the first day of filming ended up when we shot our montage, and when we did our breakdown with all the kids and the amount of changes for the montage, we were
like hundreds.
Yeah, it was like 100. We needed 112 costume looks for day one, and that was not even getting into. That was just because we were doing montage. So once we really sat down and broke it down, then we wrote quick panic emails like, help. But so that's the only time I think that I really had any reservation, and that was the only thing that we really had reservation. I knew it was going to be hard, but I think there was no reservation as far as wanting to give it my all for this film.
Yeah. Anybody else thoughts on that?
Yeah, I had a rough go, but it was this. We were behind the 8 ball the whole shoot. Like every department was, and I would walk into many departments. I'd come into Shawna and I'd be like, "Let's take a breath. Don't worry, we're all going to make it through this together." And I had to keep reminding everybody that the whole shoot, when they would come to me and start venting about how crazy it was, and I go, "Just everybody take a breath. Don't worry, we're going to get through this, and we'll figure it out." I go, there's solutions, there's not problems. I go, what's our solution, And that's a great producer taught me that a long time ago. But it was definitely a hard shoot, very, very hard shoot. But I'm really happy with the end result so far.
I think that what, to kind of Schuyler's point, I think that what really helped this is that there were, we really had a local crew base working, so a lot of us knew each other. And working in Cleveland, there's not a whole lot of ego-driven, I don't think, arguments or competitiveness. So, I mean, there might be in small, in different ways, but for the most part, I think we tend to look out for each other and can recognize so it's easy to ask for help, or it's easy to, and at the same time, really feel like you're supported and want to help support when you see your fellow crew members under stress.
Yeah. Now, this film was largely shot at TRG Multimedia, so for anybody who's not familiar with that, it's located in Brooklyn, Ohio. It's about 160,000 square feet. Could you talk about, each of you, what are the advantages or disadvantages of almost shooting directly on a stage as opposed to on location?
For us, one of the advantages that we had is that we didn't have a wardrobe truck. So we had a wardrobe office, and we were able to set up and really just be based out of this office. So dressing rooms, things like that, was all in one location. And we didn't have to worry about moving stuff in and out of locations, or packing in, packing out, setting up offices. We were able to do a lot of that in one chunk. We did have a couple of locations that we went out to, but it was really manageable. So I think that was probably one of the better. Yeah.
And I think an advantage on such a small project, small crew, is we're not split up. So whereas some people will be in the office working, and people are on set, you're able to, you know, help the people on set and then go back to your office work. So it was actually very nice once we got our space set up and usable to have it all in one place. Plus going to the same place every day, I love, instead of trying to find a new place and new parking. But yeah,
I bet
enjoyed
that's
it.
easy, or like best for you, Evan,
Oh, yeah.
because you're always looking for power sources
Yeah.
for all your drives and stuff
Yeah,
like
you
that.
can make a good plan, and like I think just in general, like on a smaller production, if you're in the same location, like you're saving a lot of time. Like it's like, oh, we're moving 20 feet instead of everyone's loading in the truck. Now we're going 20 minutes down the road. Like you can be a lot more efficient that way. So I think that was a big plus. And yeah, just for me personally, like planning, I could, because I'm not packing gear away to the truck every night, I could like set something up for the next day at the end of the day if I needed to, or just that kind of thing. So it's good. I don't know. I like shooting on the stage other than being inside for, like, I like, you know, you got to make sure you get outside and like get some sun during lunch,
Yeah.
but otherwise it's pretty good.
How about you, Schuyler?
It is really nice. I also too, TRG's like 5 minutes from my house and like
nice.
7 minutes from my shop. So it's like, I loved going to work every day because it's 5 minutes down the road for me. And also too, I can just dump off all my gear there. Everything's there. It's easy to grab. Stunt pads, like literally had a stack of stunt pads always on to call, so in case I needed them. Like right there, all of our gear, everything's all set up all nice and neat. You don't got to worry about loading stuff into a trailer, moving to the next location, vomiting everything back out again. Like I do like shooting on the stage a lot better. Also too, for rigging too, doing stunt work, you have so many pick points that you can run off of. It makes my job a lot easier instead of having to build like a big truss rig and rigging off of that. There's a lot of advantages, and TRG is such a massive studio there, which we've all been there and we all know that it's just, you could literally shoot like 10 movies there at once and not run into each other. It's that big. Like it's nice.
And you guys were doing like rehearsal, like after we're done,
Yeah.
you were able to do like a rehearsal for
Yeah.
the next day, like right on the set, basically.
We were doing rehearsals. They were literally shooting on one set, and then we were literally doing rehearsals on the other set, literally walking over, having the director just walk over next door. He can, instead of us taking a video, we have him walk over, watch our stunt rehearsals. So then he can literally come over, give us notes, go right back over to shooting, which is like normally we'd have to do a huge previs to where we'd have to film it, edit it, do all this stuff, then present it to the director. And we did a little bit of previs on it, like with Christina Moriarty. We did like some previs with her because they were on the other end of the studio shooting and it was too hard for Casper to break away. So we shot a little previs with her, with Molly, our stunt girl that doubled about every single kid in the movie. And well, she did double every single kid in the movie, but Molly's great. But yeah, there's a huge advantage of shooting on a stage.
Yeah. Now, what was it like, also for our audience, TRG just put in this giant virtual wall. And one of the days I got to visit set, and it looked like in the forest, one of the children had a mailbox with a sharp edge at the end. But I mean, what is it like to work with that, where it kind of makes these extensions of the practical, but then it looks like this just crazy 3D dimension? I mean, it must, I don't know, like for us who are probably used to just being on location, that must have been something to get used to.
Yeah, I didn't experience that as much, but I imagine, Evan, that's your...
Yeah, I mean, I think I think the combination of having like the real elements leading up to it really sold it for, like, I don't know, I'm kind of picky, so I was like, or just like, I don't know, I'm a harsh critic, but it was cool, like, and that's like something I learned from it, is like if you want to do virtual production, like building those real assets and like having the trees or having the rocks or having the plants and then having it extend really like sells it to be realistic, I think. Like, so I think it was awesome. And then just in terms like logistically, it's like one day it was this set and then we go somewhere else and then they change over, all the set and the background, and then boom, we're in a wholly different place the next day. So it's efficiency wise, it's pretty awesome too. So it was kind of cool to see.
And stunt wise, love it. We had two of the kids couldn't ride bikes, and they were supposed to ride bikes in the movie. So we had to use that to make it look like everything was moving behind the kids, and that saved our butts big time because, Yeah, that would have been a nightmare trying to have these kids actually ride bikes, because I was watching them and they're like, oh, they can, yeah. We have Devin, one of our puppet masters here, he's shaking his head like, yes.
Now, I want to ask about, you know, working with children. I know sometimes there are certain hour restrictions. Now, because of the shot in the summer, did they not have to deal with a lot of those restrictions, or was there still like a studio teacher and everything? Or
We did have a studio teacher at times, but for specific actors. But the parents were there, and we really tried to keep to like a 10-hour schedule, especially when we were shooting with kids. And then if we needed to go over, then we were working on scenes that didn't involve the kids. That's something that, like, you know, reading that you have a cast of 10 kids and you're working with kids and puppets mainly, that is intimidating. But all of the kids were really professional for me, and in the fittings, and they were like, I think, incredible actors. We really lucked out with the kids that we had, I think. For them, yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like just from like my perspective, you have to be smart, since there are like limitations. You have to be. It's like, okay, so we're going to shoot behind. You know, we're going to have a stand-in now. Be this kid because it's after time, and like that's like over however many days of filming. That planning becomes extremely important, because if you're not thinking about that, it's like, okay, well, what do we do? But it's like, oh, well, we're in this setup. We can do this shot now. Let's get all these shots first. So I think just something you don't necessarily think about.
Yeah.
Normally, like on White Noise, there was a decent amount of like kids in the cast, so we saw like some of that. And what was funny in that movie is there was twins. They were playing, so they would switch out. So that's kind of a way to get past that rule in a way. But yeah, it's the biggest thing about a movie is all the planning coming together. So that's one aspect of the planning, and that you can, you know, focus on and be successful.
Yeah.
Did any of the kids want to like get involved in the stunts, or?
They did. We had a couple of the kids well, I didn't want them to do the stunt, and they just went into it and did it. And they're like, oh yeah, I can do this, and just went and did it on camera, when I was like, no, we were just asking if you could do it. And then they're like, look, the kid just did it. And they're like, we were filming. And I was like, because some of I don't want to ruin the movie, but some of the stunts and stuff like that, the kids really wanted to do it. But we had Molly step in and Molly take care of all the stunts. There were some that they weren't really crazy stunts like normal kids would do it on a day-to-day basis. But in the Hollywood world, it's considered a stunt, and you usually have a stunt double handle it just so you don't get an actor injured or anything like that. But yeah, the kids wanted to do everything all themselves. They're like, I can do that. And yeah, there was many times too, one girl was really sweet, and she's like, oh, I want to do this. And I go, no, you can't. Molly's doubling you. And when she saw Molly come out all doubled like her, she freaked out. She's like, oh my gosh, we're twins. And they're like taking photos together when we were shooting out at Schoolyard Studios. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
I think with kids too, just to, when you're working with kids, you got to think about the time, like you said, how much time we have, because even if during planning and everything, they say we'll be done with the kids, we won't need to double their wardrobe. You will need to double their wardrobe. So in planning, that's what we plan for, is to have multiples on the costumes for the kids. Not only for things like just to have multiples in case they get lunch on their clothes, but to have a set for the stunt double, and then for any photo doubles that they might decide last minute to try to, throw in, or to get another kid to come in and finish the coverage, even if it's over the shoulder and stuff like that. So when you're working with kids and thinking about costumes, that's something you gotta consider. And work into the budget.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one question I wanted to ask was in regards to Casper, and this is Casper's feature directorial debut. He made Too Many Cooks. If you've ever seen that, it's amazingly hilarious. Now, what was it like working with a first-time director? Because a lot of times I feel like in Ohio we tend to work with like a director who's doing their first film, and then they go on to do something like gargantuan afterwards. But what was it like working with Casper?
I thought it was pretty great. We had a really great initial conversation, and then I did have to plan in time to discuss everything that we needed to discuss because his schedule was so busy. I think that for a film this size, there was so much planning involved and a whole new element. We're not used to working with puppets usually, so this was really exciting. And so that was a whole nother element outside of planning for G&E and electrics and stunts and all that stuff. Like we had to, so getting in to talk to him took more planning, but Casper himself I thought was, was pretty good to work with and talk to and collaborate with, and I was able to bring him ideas, and if he gave me pushback, we were able to discuss it, and so yeah, it was creatively, I think, challenging and fulfilling, to be able to have that dialogue.
Anybody else?
Oh yeah, it was awesome working with Casper. I had a blast. Like we would be talking about scenes, and we were like, literally just giddy and laughing and like, oh, this is gonna be so good. It's gonna look so awesome, and we would get done filming a scene. Me and him would be like high-fiving and chest bumping and stuff, and getting super excited. And yeah, Casper was a really good first-time director. I've worked with a lot of first-time directors, and Casper he literally didn't seem like it was his first time directing. He was just so passionate about the movie, and like he would get a shot and we would get so excited. We'd just all start just being like, yeah, we got it, high-fiving, getting excited. Or we'd be losing it laughing because of our puppet team. We'd be doing something so unbelievably hilarious while we were filming and stuff. Like it was literally one of the funnest shoots I think I've worked on to date.
Well, kind of jumping off of that, I want to hear like what is it like having puppeteers and everything incorporated in all the other things? Like, did it make anything challenging for the shoot? Did it kind of prolong any of the process or anything?
I mean, for me, part of my responsibility is like getting everyone monitors. So it's like the puppeteers are hiding in different places. So it's like different solutions of how to get them a monitor that's gonna, so they can see what they're doing, and then it has to be small enough to hide in a well or all sorts of different places. So that was cool. I mean, that was cool for me, and I just love working with Devin. It was awesome. So I mean, it was just cool to see their work, like from my perspective.
Oh, it's awesome working with puppeteers, and if we had like 5 more weeks of filming, we could have gotten all these, like there were some shots that we couldn't get, so we had to alter it a little bit because we didn't have enough time, and if we had enough time, we could have made all these awesome shots happen and stuff like that, but that's filmmaking, you know what I mean? You never have enough time, never enough money. So it's always the battle, but now working with the puppeteers was awesome. We kept coming up with awesome creative solutions. They were literally like the best professional team. So it was literally like pros coming in and just knocking stuff down. Yeah. Everybody was like that. Every department was just like, oh, we got an issue. Okay, everybody jumps on board. Everybody's going to help carry the ship across the finish line. You know what I mean? And it was awesome. It was literally, that's why our film community here in Cleveland does so well, is because we do have a good crew here and a good puppet crew here too that literally came in and dominated.
Well, I kind of want to jump off that as well. For some of our students here in the audience, can you just describe, in general, what is it like when working with the Cleveland crew here? Like, it's almost, I always say it's like we're like a big family. It might be sometimes dysfunctional, but but tell us your experiences about working with the local Cleveland crew.
I think because it's a smaller market, we work together, and we work together on a regular basis, and so it allows us to maintain a certain level of respect and appreciation for the work that everybody does. We really see what everybody puts into it, and so when we get a chance to get back on set, it's like a little reunion usually. There's lots of like hugs and how you been and what's going on, and so it is very much like a film family. I think.
It is. It's totally family environment. We all get excited when, especially too, I get really excited when I'm out of town and I get to see somebody from our town working with me. I go run up, we give each other huge hugs. We're super excited that we're getting to work with each other. if we're in town, it's like a big family reunion. Everybody's super excited to see each other. Everybody from Genie to costumes to you name it. The whole crew is like we are a dysfunctional family. You know what I mean? And it's awesome. I love it.
And I think like every movie's a little different. So having like people that you know, because there's so many variables that you're balancing constantly. Just having like those people that you know, just it's like kind of relaxes you in certain ways, because it's like everyone that comes in has different expectations. So it's like, well, I've got these people that I know, and they're going to be my support system, and then we're going to solve all these other problems. So I think I don't know, for me, that's always awesome. It's just like, oh yeah, it's like comfortability there. So it can be kind of daunting, like just walking in to a new, it's like a first day of school. So you're back,
Yeah, I agree. And it's nice when you work with the same people over and over, you kind of know each other's strengths and weaknesses. So it's much easier to just kind of fill in where you know it's needed versus, working with new people that you don't know and you don't want to step on toes. But and then for costumes also, like the local, shops is a really good, creating relationships with them. They're always excited to help out with movies, and going to, like local businesses is always nice to give them the money, the business, and
Yeah, that's great. Now talk about, all right, it was a challenging shoot. We have a first-time director, we have kids, we have puppets, but through it all, the movie got done, and it got into Sundance. And I know some of you went to Sundance. Can you talk about that experience of, just seeing the world premiere for the last Sundance at Park City?
Yeah. That was a whirlwind day. I think between getting up to go to the airport and the end of the showing was a 22-hour day. So it was a lot. It was kind of a blur, but I think it was exciting to be there. It was a lot. There was a lot going on, and that's all I can really remember. It's like a fever dream. I don't even like. Oh yeah. I kept thinking like, I'm having a good time, and like, don't fall asleep. But getting to see the movie and standing, we were in line with everybody kind of going to see the movie. I think I missed the side door exit that some of us got to take, but to see like how many people were there to see it, because it was a sold-out show, and just how excited people were, and to be in that mix was really nice to feel the excitement, even through the exhaustion. I think it was. Yeah.
Any other get to go? Or?
I didn't get to go. I was in Little Rock, Arkansas, doing a Nicolas Cage action movie.
All
So
right.
I've heard good things. I've heard good things.
Yeah.
All right, so that means tonight for
tonight.
the three of you,
I
that'll
get
be
to
the
finally
first time.
get to see it. I'm
Awesome.
lucky that I get to see it tonight. I was supposed to be in Philly right now.
To me, like, nothing else is better. Like, when you get to finally see the work, it's like...
Oh, I'm excited. I'm so excited. A ton of people have saw it that are here, and I'm like really excited. Just don't want to. Oh, I'm so pumped.
Yeah. Now, for some of the students here, I'm sure they're trying to figure out how they can get involved in some of these films. Do either of you have any advice for people who are just starting out and trying to get into this crazy business?
I think like paying attention to what's going on in the film community, tapping into the Film Commission, because they're a huge resource, going and meeting people and shooting, like going out and shooting, just continue to I guess keep in that creative energy, and I think reaching out to people in the crew, you can find contacts through the Cleveland Film Commission. You could, and just
The mixers too.
Mixers, but when I first started out, I would cold call people, and I would just reach out and say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm interested in. Is there any way that I can be part of what you do, or is there any way? And that really shows, that's taking initiative, and that goes a long way. And then I think as filmmakers, it's kind of like, oh, I get it. I know where you are. I would love to help you if any way that I can. Like, let's have a conversation. Let's see where you're at. Let's see what you're interested in. And I know I like to try to make connections. So there's always like, oh, if there's somebody, oh, I think, maybe you should talk to this person. So it is, if you have the courage to reach out and follow up and just are willing to have a conversation, then that goes a long way.
And persistence helps. Like just because one door shuts, there's many other doors that you can try and walk through. Yeah. That's my bit of advice. And there's also good programs for Cleveland Film Commission. There's good ones at Tri-C. There's good ones here at Cleveland State. There's good ones, like those programs will plug you into the industry really well. And same with the Cleveland Film Commission is like the main thing. I would definitely.
Well, thank you. We're humbled. I would like to know now for each of you, because I'm sure some of our students here might be kind of trying to figure out like what is my place in each of these films? What is a potential department for me? Why did you choose the department that you're each in?
I fell into costumes. I really wanted to be a director of photography, and but I went to school. I started working in film before I went to school, and I ended up being a PA in the costume department. I fell into theater work, and I had a designer who said, you could be a jack of all trades, but be a master of one. Like, pick a department and then focus on that. And then really give that your all. And since I had fallen into costumes, I just went with that. So.
I'm a CSU alum, actually,
Awesome.
From the theater department. I went for costume design and construction. So I got my start in theater, and then I interned, on a movie and really loved it, made good connections. And I just kept at it. I still do theater sometimes, but I really love film. There's more. I feel like more areas, it's not just clothes, with aging and distressing, shopping, like office work, like there's many different avenues you can go within just the costume department.
That's great.
I would say too, like kind of with the last question too, it's like everyone up here at some point probably want to be a director of photography or director or writer. But if you just go and do it, like look at a movie's credits and just look at all the jobs, like do research and find out what interests you. And I think just getting on set, I think everyone would agree, getting on set is the greatest way to learn about the industry and just being involved. Because like I learned so much from like my perspective about just like, and you can really pick, that's like the best, I mean, school is good too, but like just being there is extremely important. For me, I think like my job, I kind of do know a lot about like technical stuff on like audio and camera side. So my job is kind of a combination of that. So it's just kind of picking your strengths and just learning that. But yeah, like not everyone is, I also think a director that is someone who has come from like working on set is going to be so much stronger because they're familiar with all the departments. They're familiar with how things work. They can think about the things as like the kid, I mean, there's other people playing that too, but it's like, okay, we only have the kids 8 hours. We can do this, this, and this. And it just like builds just being there and seeing all this happen and is the greatest thing, I think. And yeah, I don't know. That's basically it.
Yeah, I grew up in the industry, so I'm a weird one. I come from a big stunt family, and we did a lot of crazy stuff growing up. So my uncle helped me out through the industry. My cousins helped me out through the industry, and they're all legendary stunt coordinators, and they all helped me out through the business. Same with most of my family's in the business. But my side of the field, you got to do a lot of training. So you got to go do a lot of stunt training, a lot of stunt driving. You have to get a lot of certifications and all these different things to become a good stunt guy.
Yeah.
And so you got to have like stunt driving, rigging. There's a lot of stuff that you have to have under your belt before you can become into our industry. Same with special effects. Special effects, there's a lot of licensing that you have to have. You have to learn about a lot of stuff like fabricating, roll cages, cannons. That's why it's you got to have a big engineering background, but you can also always reach out to me, and I will give you a run into business and see if this is what you want to do. Because you really got to want to do what I do if you wanted to do it. Because it's a tough one.
I think if there is something, if you're looking for a place to get your foot in the door, think about no matter what experience you have, there's a place for you in the film industry. So like, even if you've done catering or food service, then maybe craft services needs a PA or needs an assistant. That's actually
or
where.
Even if you like driving, you could be a transpo driver driving vans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You could get in with transpo and drive vans. You want to get in and be a stunt person. There's tons of stunt workshops that are going on all over the world. You just got to look it up. You know what I mean? Like, do your research, dive into it, full go. You know.
Carpentry or
Yeah.
set building. Sometimes they have a utility position. A lot of the departments have a ground level position that you can kind of angle for, and then if not, then try to weasel your way into PA work. And the Film Commission offers PA workshops, so you can kind of learn the basis of what you need, and then persistence and drive is really what it takes. So.
Yeah, I think being at school does help with like networking, like stuff like this, or just meeting people. That's how I met a lot of people, is like through CSU too. So.
Yeah. Does any of our audience have any questions they want to throw out there?
How do you go about sourcing that many costumes?
Unfortunately, we had to use a lot of Amazon. We actually, because we had to have so many multiples, and then multiples for blood and multiples for shopping. Now is a lot harder than pre-COVID times. So just the amount of stuff that's in stores. Even if we tried to shop at some of the local stores, it was difficult for this particular film. Because we had to have a lot of kids' clothes, and it's kind of limited.
Especially multiples.
So we have to source a lot from online, and try to get and time that into.
The timing, I think, is the hardest, because if you can't find it in store locally, you have to get it quickly. And then with the puppets, that was a new challenge to costume. So, we were like trying to be creative, like, are we going to have to go custom because it's so big? And then we were able to kind of find bigger sizes that we just kind of altered. That worked really well. We were very nervous if that would even work. Then, sorry.
No, I think that's one of the things with this particular movie that was a completely new experience. Is one of my first meetings with Devin was like, oh, hey, so these are some of the costumes we need for our puppets. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, wait, I have to find costumes that are shaped like this? Okay, cool, we got this. So, but we get creative.
Rental houses too. There's like theaters here that have rental houses that we have good connections with. I know when productions are coming from like New York or LA, there's big shops there that they'll rent from and ship here. And then I'm trying to get my own started here, but slow moving. So I have a little stock that I try to.
No, that's awesome. Well, I know for each of you, you have Ohio Burn Unit, Black Valve. Can you talk a little bit about each of your own endeavors, I guess?
Oh, everybody looks at me. Okay. All right. Well, my company, we do a lot of crazy stuff. We do like live fire performance shows. We do like full body burns. We do special effects. We do building custom flame effects. We do pretty much any big crazy stunt. As long as you have enough time and enough money, we can make anything happen type deal going on. And I play the new Jason Voorhees as well. And I just got back from a movie that we just did called As Good as Dead 2 with Michael J. White and Tom Berenger.
Oh, very cool.
And then I play a corrupt cop in it, and I fight Michael J. White, and I end up, well, I don't want to ruin the movie for you, but I play a big part in it. And we had a lot of fun shooting that. And yeah, I do a lot of acting, a lot of stunt stuff, a lot of special effects stuff. We do custom special effects stuff. We do live show stuff. We do, like we're actually doing a live performance for the Pro Football Hall of Fame for their rib burn off for Memorial Day weekend. We'll be doing 2 shows down there Friday and Saturday.
That's great.
And that's us like twirling fire, eating fire, cannons, all kinds of crazy stuff. I'd definitely come check out the show. It'll be fun.
So Black Valve, like me and my cousin Hunter are the owners. We have like a studio space. So like I think another thing too about like movies in Cleveland is like being sustainable is being able to do other stuff when movies aren't in town. So that's kind of, we have like some business that we do there. And then just talking about like specialization, we have like a collection of old TVs and we kind of specialize in like putting old TVs on film and stuff. So like this movie, there's some of that was sourced through production and some of it was sourced through us. So that'll be cool. Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's there. It'll be cool to see how that all turns out. But yeah, I think just doing a little bit of everything, and yeah, that's kind of how we do.
Well, I swear, if you're an old media junkie like me, like please, like reach out to Evan, go to his space. It is incredible. I'm not gonna lie. So I know Janelle, you said you're kind of starting your own thing, and I know Shawna, like you have a vast collection. I'm kind of envious of like you, the costume people in town, because you always seem like you're just having fun with each other. Can you kind of talk about like the camaraderie that you all have built as costume people?
Yeah, I think that, like I said, because it's a small crew base, we really, and usually we end up working together. So it's, if there's a big movie in town, then we'll all work, or if there's a couple of movies, then usually, so we see each other a lot. And I think just over time, and we just formed this even tighter family.
Yeah.
And it's nice because we could just, say we're having a rough day of it, we could just kind of like look at each other and know that like, okay, no, it's gonna be fine. It's, yeah, I think, and then being able to support each other too. Like Janel is starting her, like a costume rental. I've got a huge stock. She rents racks. There's a couple other people. So even if we're working in, on something else, like I could always reach out, Janel, can I borrow this? Can I borrow these racks, or can I rent these from you? So that's how we're able to support each other, like with actual.
And I mean, our department is friends outside of work too, which is very nice. But yeah, and then my partner has like screen printing and embroidery.
That's great.
So you know, I help him with that when I'm not working, but then also it's great for films because you can do custom pieces, and he understands the quick turnaround, which isn't always.
So if any of you guys like are making movies and need custom patches, like police patches are always a thing when you have to design them, or then Andy's company, what's
Merch My Way.
Merch My Way, yeah. They're like, he understands it. And that was a big thing, is having the support services, like, so everybody that has their own company, like, you really need that when you're building a film community. You need to be able, and also the expectations of maybe some people coming from out of town and being able to get overnight patches is normal. We didn't have that for a few years until Janel's husband started offering that, and then it was like a game changer. You know, we'd have to order them from someplace else and then rely on somebody else's timeline. So, but yeah, any of those support services are really helpful.
That's great. Any other questions for our panelists? Yes.
And this question is for everyone. What was your guys' biggest challenge on set?
Finding enough costumes. That was that was for us, I think, and and then
I think the hardest day was maybe in the school. We were just moving it. It was kind of towards the end of the shoot, and we were just moving so fast. And I was just like, my hair was on fire. I was trying to catch up, and we had 2 cameras going. At like one camera would shoot, and another camera would set up, and like down the hall, and I have to like run everything down there and like get it all back together. And then I think that was like the hardest day. But like being on the stage kind of made most things not so intense for me. But that day was that was probably the craziest day. And also there's a scene in the school with some TVs, and we were also simultaneously setting that up. Hunter was setting that up, and we were kind of communicating back and forth, and I was running stuff down to him. So it was just like a lot was going on. And we were also in the very basement of the school doing some more TV. So there's a lot going on that day. But yeah, it was good. It's good problem to have.
Most challenging, probably the puppets. We did. No, it was pretty much, it was the school. When we were shooting at the school, it was very hot in the school.
Yeah.
So our performer, Sergey, was in this very, very insulated fur costume the whole entire time. And I kept warning him the whole entire time that he had his stunt double there to like swap out with him because it was so hot. And it's already like, it's like imagine wearing like 5 or 6 snowsuits at once and having to perform and it being like 85 degrees to 90 degrees in this school. So we're in shorts and t-shirts, we're pouring sweat and we're all pounding water and he is just pouring water out of him. He wanted to be such a good performer. He kept going, no, I got it. He almost went into heat stroke because of it. So then we had to swap out his stunt double and then we had to keep swapping back and forth. But he ended up coming back in and doing his scene in the movie. I don't want to ruin the movie, but it was a very important scene in the movie. And when you watch Buddy, you will understand what I'm talking about when we get into the school stuff.
I will add when sourcing costumes, and for kids, when you're working with kids, you also have to think about them growing because that was the challenge, is that from the start of the movie to the end of the movie, even though it was a short amount of time, kids grow, and so when you're buying costumes for kids, you always want to have the size up in case they have a growth spurt in the amount of time. That was a big challenge because then we had to
about that one.
find and dye.
Dyed,
Yeah.
so then, that was that.
Yeah.
Forgot about that one.
Any other questions from our audience? Yes.
Did you ever have any issues like transporting the puppets from place to place? I know that they're like can be very fragile.
Well, everything went perfect. Yeah. We actually didn't. We didn't have anything to do with the puppets or the maintenance of the puppets. And this was interesting to kind of work with puppets and just figure out what fell into costumes world and what fell into puppets world. And then how that overlapped, and then just like with any other department, when you're figuring out what's props, what's costumes, what's where does that fall? That's kind of what we did, and so we only had to worry really about what the puppets were wearing, and then Devin and his team, they handled all of that, so yeah.
Up there. Yeah.
Do you have any advice about relocation, as in if you live in a small town and you want to get in the industry, but there's no industry where you live?
Oh, yeah. There's always, like, even if you live in a small town, you can still work from that small town. You just got to go out and network with the right people, and you will get the work, and then you will travel, because the industry is a lot of networking. So you need to network with the right people, talk to like what department you really want to work with a lot. And you could still live in that small town. You don't need to relocate. I've seen people do it before where they're like, oh, I'm moving to Hollywood and I'm going to go work in the movie industry. And then 6 months later, they're moving back and they're like, I'm flat broke living in my parents' basement now and I can't even afford an apartment. And it's like, yeah, it didn't work out in Hollywood for you, did it? It's because you need to make your connections before you go moving to that city. If you're moving to that city, it's because you've already made connections in that city to where you can work in that city. then you move there, start working your butt off in that city. I wouldn't suggest anybody just moving somewhere. You're not going to make it by moving to Atlanta. You're not going to make it by moving it to Hollywood. That's drawing a lottery ticket, you know what I mean? You want something surefire, go out, network, go to like Cleveland Film Commission mixers, meet different filmmakers, talk to different people, try and find out where you want to work in that field. That's the easiest way. I wouldn't suggest moving anywhere.
Are you like far away from Cleveland, or?
Yeah, I live in southeast Ohio, Hopkins County.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff going on in Cincinnati and Columbus. Like, there's a decent amount of movies in Cincinnati, and Columbus has a decent like commercial thing too. So yeah, it's tough. I lived in a small town, and I moved to Cleveland, so that helped.
Yeah, and if you're somewhere in a rural area like that, I would suggest moving closer to the city too. Like, because that one, at least you could get a job up here by Cleveland. You could network with everybody. But I wouldn't suggest moving to like Atlanta or moving to like LA or something like that. But moving closer to Cleveland so you can network and get into the business better and stuff like that, I would suggest that. Like, just so you don't have as much of a commute, you know. Because I did the same thing. I lived in a rural area. I lived in Burton, Ohio, so I moved closer to Cleveland. I live in Cleveland now, so.
Well, and I would say if you're in the southern part of the state, you know, the Cincinnati Film Commission is a wonderful resource. It's essentially a one-person office by a woman named Kristen Schlottman. She's really awesome, and you know, Columbus also has resources as well. So, you know, I would look into those for any assistance, for sure.
I think when you're thinking about working, and you do have to think about the market that you're in or that you're closest to. So if you live in a really rural area, then obviously then there's not going to be that much opportunity. But I've worked in a couple of smaller markets, which was in the Carolinas, and then even Cleveland. You know, this is a smaller market. So there's benefits to being either having a small pond to fish from or a large pond. And then when you're making those choices, look at what is going on. Like commercials, when I worked in Charlotte, it was great. They had it was a city that had theater that came through. So if for costumes or electrics or whatever, that was an option. That's kind of how I fell into it. They also had a thriving commercial business. There was NASCAR that was associated. So, and then they had a good tax incentive. So all of that, when I wasn't working on movies, I was able to work on commercials or theater. So if you're thinking about a move, you got to think about the whole big picture and then where you fit into that, and what you're looking for and how you're willing to network. And every state has a film commission that you can, and then sometimes multiple. Like there was I don't know if there was like a Youngstown Film Commission, the Cleveland Film Commission, the Cincinnati Film Commission. So some states have multiple film commissions, and you could 100% always reach out to wherever you're thinking about. And then it just takes a little bit of digging into like what the market looks like and where you might be able to find. Like Columbus has a lot of commercial work. So if that's something that you're interested in, or if it's, so just taking getting a picture of the whole industry and then its extensions and where you could find your way in and what is something to take into consideration. It doesn't necessarily have to be a big market, but if a bigger city will have more opportunity. So whatever, if you want to stay in Ohio, then looking at the 3 C's to see if any of those places kind of fit in to what you're looking for. And then as you branch out or want to move someplace else, then, but Film Commission is usually a good place to start with gathering that information.
Yeah, we'll welcome you here.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes. Or, yeah, between you two, pick.
And I just had a question from Councilman. Was that you guys' first ever time working with puppets? And what is, and just working with puppets and as a whole? I know you talked about getting close to the puppets. What was that process like?
It was my first time working with puppets. I was really excited. I had no idea even, when I first thought about the job, I thought, oh, I need to design the puppets. So, you know, having ideas of like, okay, well, what is this Buddy character gonna look like? And then knowing that there was a whole puppet team, and then realizing that we had to have, it fell to us to provide costumes for that. Your brain kicks in and then you're like, okay, well, I just have to think about this as like another person. So like, let's take the measurements, let's figure out what kind of clothes and what the body shape is. So it wasn't really too different. And then we were able to source some things that were bigger and then alter them to fit the shape that we needed.
Yeah, or sew several things together in like inconspicuous ways, you know, like, you know, there's one shirt that instead of like going up the center back, you add like 6 inches in the side. So it's like being creative, finding ways to solve things quickly and easily that isn't distracting to the eye too.
Yeah, I think because of the size of the budget, that's the route that we took.
Yeah.
If we had a bigger budget and more time and more prep, then we would have had somebody make something
custom.
specific. But we actually, I think the costume gods were with us because we were able to find exactly what we needed, get it in time, and things kind of just magically fit.
Yeah.
So
And what we wanted too, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Just took a lot of digging on the internet.
Yeah.
Which is something that I really like to do. Like, it's always like, you know, a designer will be in love with this vintage shirt they found at a thrift store, but we need 3 of them. And so I love just, you know, going Poshmark, eBay, and searching because it feels so good when you find it. So that was fun, kind of.
Yeah.
Once it worked out, it was fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
For those of you who have your own spaces and own companies, are you open to the idea of students interning with you or shadowing you for a day?
Yes.
Yeah, I think once like a costume rental house, you know, like gets, or
Yeah.
you know, there will be probably an opportunity to like restock and that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Right now it's just my basement, so
Yeah, yeah.
once I get that space, but yeah.
Yeah, we usually just like have a meeting with you and then talk about what your interests are and then see how that like aligns with ours, and yeah, we go from there. But we give you a tour of this, show you the 100 million Blu-rays, and yeah, it's good.
And we kind of do the same thing at our company. We do a whole like interview thing, seeing on what you want to do. If you want to be in the entertainment and live performance side of our company, then you actually audition. And every year around Christmas time, always the Saturday before Christmas, we have tryouts for our performance side for like jugglers and stilt walkers and stuff like that. So we do an audition thing around Christmas time for the live performance. We want to work in the movie side and the special effects side of our company and stunt side. Then you come in, we have a talk, see what you want to do, stuff like that, and then we go from there.
That's great. I think we're getting close to the end of our time. So this is the 50th anniversary of the Cleveland International Film Festival. And this could be for anybody, but like, what does it feel, to be a part of something that plays during that 50th year?
I think it's, for me, it's always exciting to see something that you've worked on at the Cleveland International Film Festival, as just a way to honor like everybody that put their blood, sweat, and tears into the film, because a lot of times they're like, a smaller film that you have to really band together and carry over the finish line. So it's always exciting to see something you worked on playing here in Cleveland.
Yeah, I think like there's sometimes like crew screenings for movies that are like shot here, which is always cool, but I think it'll be cool because I'm sure there's going to be a ton of people. It's just going to be like saying hi to everybody, and you don't always get that experience if you're like watching at home or just randomly go to the theater. So it's cool to be like in a big group of people that are all excited about the movie. So yeah, that's going to be awesome.
It's a huge honor to have something here because I've had a lot of movies I've worked on, been in other film festivals. It's the first time you've ever, well, no, we had one once a while ago that debuted at Cleveland International Film Festival. and I got to come and see it, and we got to watch it. But this is even crazier that it's the 50th, so it's pretty awesome, and it's going to be awesome getting to see everybody tonight, and it's going to be like a big family reunion. It's going to be everybody hugging, chest bumping, high fiving, you know.
Well, I know it's on what they call standby, so it's essentially sold out. So it's going to be a packed house. We got I think Casper Kelly is going to be there as well. So I don't know if this goes out live now, but make sure to try to go. You can get rush tickets, right before. But once again, can we just hear it for each of our panelists? And, thank you all for being here, and enjoy the rest of the time at the 50th Cleveland International Film Festival.